Hello and welcome. It's the 18th day of April 2023, and I'm saying a big thank you to you for joining me on another interesting episode of the newspaper review here on TAF TV. My name is Cyril Aloysius, and as usual, doing the papers with me is Mr. Victor Sioko. Sir, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
How do you do?
I'm perfect. I'm waiting for you guys tonight.
Please be more specific. When you say you guys, who is you guys?
I'm waiting for Chelsea this night.
Make
history of leaving the Champions League.
Well, I am optimistic. I'm optimistic because I believe in miracles, and we just might shock the world today. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Yeah, so let's keep our fingers crossed and see what happens by 8 o'clock today. All right, so we'll go straight to the business of the day. We shall be starting first by looking at this day newspaper, and headlines in this day says, the boldest headline in this day says, INEC suspends Adamawa REC as Binani seeks judicial review of her announcement. INEC suspends Adamawa REC as Binani seeks judicial review of her announcement. That story is on page 10 of this day newspaper. And another one here, still on page 10. This one says, NAFDAC approves clinical malaria vaccine for children. NAFDAC approves clinical malaria vaccine for children. That's on page 10. And this one on page 5 says COVID-19. Federal government affects 45.3 billion naira reimbursement to states. Federal Capital Territory. That story is on page 5 of this day newspaper. And on page 6, we have, this one says, aviation workers strike forces passengers to trek to airport. Unions block access roads. Details of that headline is on page 6 as well. And lastly, here on page 10 of this day, we have Buhari recounts achievements in oil gas sector, lists PIA as biggest accomplishment. Buhari recounts achievements in oil gas sector, lists PIA as biggest accomplishment. That story is on page 10 of this day newspaper. Mr. Victor, I would like to get your reaction to this particular headline that says INEC suspends Adamawa REC as Binani seeks judicial review of her announcement.
Okay. Yeah, we saw what happened over the weekend in Adamawa State, where a REC, that's a Residential Electoral Commissioner, announced the result, announced a fake result. In fact, will I even call it a result? Announced the winner, because there was no result in front of him. What he did was just to write up a paper, a plain sheet of paper, and gave APC a score and announced that APC won the election. And we saw the backlash. The backlash being that INEC quickly came out to say they are not responsible, as in INEC Abuja, saying that they were not responsible for that announcement. And what then happened? We saw somebody like him, who is an INEC observer, being beaten and stripped half naked. Okay, so what then also happened? We saw the REC being ordered by INEC to come to Abuja, including everybody that was associated with that. But I need to make one thing clear before we enter the Binani case proper. In that space of illegality where the REC, mind you, the REC is the one that is in charge of the state with respect to administrative duties and all that, okay? But the REC does not have power, both in the Electoral Act or in the Constitution, to declare results.
Okay.
The declaration of result is being done by the returning officer, who is usually being appointed by INEC. Okay, so there was a returning officer on that day who was doing his duty. All of a sudden, the REC now announced the result. So, who did we see around the neck announcing the result? Shockingly, the Commissioner of Police. The police, that is, we need to also make it very clear. Commissioner of Police is the number one head man, the number one policeman in the state. And we know that the police duty is to enforce law. The law does not state that the REC of a state, it has never happened in the history of Nigeria that the REC will announce a result. Okay. So, for Binani, who happened to be a woman, that, yes, many of us political pundits will say that, yes, it would be nice to have a woman as governor. That will also help in the cause of gender equality. But I'm here to say that I am disappointed with Binani. Reason, she saw that the process of the rec announcing the results is fraudulent, is illegal. She went ahead to give an acceptance speech. And at the same time, she's now going to court to seek for judicial review. You just begin to wonder, are we all mad in this country? Will a man... Now, the issues here are men, politicians. You know, when they mention politicians, you start thinking about the male gender. But this time around, we now have a woman acting like
one of the males.
I wanted to use one bad word, but
one of the males.
I will just hold myself.
One
there.
of the males.
It is so shameful of her to tell this part. It has never happened in the history of Nigeria. Okay, what is happening is something that she could have, by now, she should be in shame that her and her party, the APC, liars with a rec and the commissioner of police to announce a result whereby we still have plenty of about 10 more or 11 more local government results to be announced.
So, Mr.
And you hurriedly, and sorry, lastly, please, this should be a sign of big time illegality, because they were supposed to come back. Okay, there was a recess, there was a break, and they were supposed to come back by 11 o'clock. And this rec came out by 9. The pressmen were not even there. He just came out by 9 with the commissioner of police and announced the results, fake results.
So, Mr. Victor, just shortly before we draw the curtain on this particular topic, I would like to ask, what happened, the Binani case? Do you by any way see it as a reflection of what really played out in these past elections that took place, the presidential and governorship elections?
100. It shows that almost all the politicians we have in this country have, will I say, elements or a bag of rubbish hovering around their heads. What is happening? Everybody is now striving, going hard on let the INEC people announce their results. And we saw what happened during the presidential result. You know, these things, there are always examples to this. And they follow these examples. They follow these first signs or first expressions that happen. What happened? We saw the way that the INEC chairman, Yakubu, when he was even seeing that people were protesting that, see, let's come down with this announcement of results. We need to make sure that these results that we are announcing, are they proper? Are they true? But he insisted, no, bring, let me announce. And he announced. The next thing is go to court. So this woman wants to also use the term now of going to court. That it has announced. So far, it's an agent. She made it there on paper that since it's an agent, an INEC agent that announced it, that means it's coming from the INEC. Because it's famous, but from the Electoral Act and the Constitution, it's not supposed to. So if she's talking that is an agent, okay, does it mean that a presiding officer or a youth corper can come out and preside her and pronounce her? Because person is an agent. Pronounce her winner because of an agent. Then she will not go to court. To tell you how sick we are in this country. Lastly, one might say, okay, woman, oh, she's a woman, oh, take her easy, oh, take it easy with her. My brother, we should not also forget that we have women that have failed, that have rubbished this country, that are big failures in this country. Should I mention some? Desani Maduekwe. Desani has shown, I don't want to go back that much, but we know that Desani is not representing the women folks well. We know that Patricia Ete, that was given the power to become the speaker of this country, as in the House of Representatives, that looted funds. I cannot mention. I can't go on, man.
Mr. Victor, so, let's not sleep on it. Let's not sleep on it. All right, so we'll go straight now to the Daily Sun for more interesting headlines. This one on Daily Sun says on page 2, aviation strike. Passengers stranded. Airlines suffer losses. Federal government begs union to call off strike. That story is on page 2. I go again. Aviation strike. Passengers stranded. Airlines suffer losses. Federal government begs union to call off strike. That story is on page 2 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And on page 6 here we have INEC hammer falls on wreck over Adamawa Guba results mess. All right, I think we already talked about this before. And on page 27, this one says Osibanjo warns against the ethnic religious profiling in politics. Osibanjo warns against ethnic religious profiling in politics. That story is on page 27 of the Daily Sun. On page 8, we have twist in Labour Party crisis as NLC storms Abuja Party Secretariat. That story is on page 8. Twist in Labour Party crisis as NLC storms Abuja Party Secretariat. That story is on page 8 of the Daily Sun. And on page 27, we have stop premeditated injustice against Igbo, according to Archbishop Onuaga. He says stop premeditated injustice against Igbo, according to Archbishop Onuaga on page 27. On page 6, we have election petition tribunal strikes out case against Kalu. Election petition tribunal strikes out case against Kalu on page 6. And on page 25, we have Nigeria spends 96.3% of 2022 revenue on debt servicing, according to World Bank. Nigeria spends 96.3% of 2022 revenue on debt servicing, according to World Bank on page 25. And on page 4 and 5, we have a kidnapper buries 3-year-old boy alive after collecting ransom in Katsina. That's a sad headline there on page 4 and 5 of Daily Sun. I go again. Kidnapper buries 3-year-old boy alive after collecting ransom in Katsina. And underneath, we have a gunman kill community leader in Kaduna, abduct 8 in Benue. Kidnappers kill victims' aid, injured 3 policemen in Rivers. More stories on this particular headline is on page 4 and 5 of Daily Sun. And lastly, here in Daily Sun, we have on page 26, and it says, Abga crisis. Police withdraw amended charge against Njoku Justice Odeli's secretary. That story is on page 26 of the Daily Sun. So, Mr. Victor, so many headlines here, so many interesting headlines in Daily Sun to talk about. But because of time, we won't be talking as much on many of them. I would like you to talk about on one, which has to do with Labour Party. I think it's on page 8. It says, twist in Labour Party crisis as NLC storms Abuja Party Secretariat. I would like to get your reaction to this headline.
Okay, it's no longer news that the Labour Party have been suffering internally. We will now have, it's now full news that there's a whole lot of faction happening in the Labour Party, okay? And what has happened this time around is that Dahiru, that's the Labour NLC, that's the National Labour Congress. The Nigerian Labour Congress have come out to show solidarity to the leadership of Abure. Okay, so but now, while saying this, we should not also forget that yes, Abure did his work trying to mend the fences, but we should note that this has also gone so deep. I mean the faction and the fraction happening in the Labour Party, because over the weekend we saw some heavy signs of what this faction is causing for them, where they had the Imo State primaries, Labour Party primary for the Guba elections coming up later in the year. So what happened there? We had a situation whereby one faction had their own candidate in the name of Atan Otuaka. Atan, oh my, I don't know why. Whenever I want to mention Atan and his full name, I just add the Otuaka. Otuaka in Igbo, or in English, in Igbo language, but in English means that the person has one hand. Yes, unfortunately, he has amputated parts of, I think his left, his left arm, and he was a senator before now, very notable man out there. But along the line, yes, in 2015 he was a senator, but along the line he lost his position due to the court. Go to court thing has been happening for a while now. So yes, his opposition went to court, that's Owajimogu of the APC, went to court and took their position. Well, unfortunately, even for Owajimogu died on that seat of becoming a senator. So, but aside that, that's a snippet of what's happening around Imo politics. But aside that, the Labour Party, through Abayomi, Apata, they had their own faction that produced one Mr. Ukebu. So what is the matter now? The matter right now is that they should go to court. So it is now normal in Nigerian politics that people just do whatever they want to do and tell you go to court. Like we know in Abga, the other day we saw in Apuga where you have two chairmen. One chairman was there on national TV. The chairman that I know was there on national TV telling the factional chairman that I don't know this man, no, I've not seen him before, I don't know where he's coming. That is the Nigerian. And that man that he was talking about had already gone to court. Wow. And in fact, from the case that he brought, the judgment that he brought, it was looking like it was favoring him. So that is Nigeria for you. Unfortunately, the mannerless nature of our citizens is playing us out there. Reason because we don't have the right justice system. Nigerians are using, for me, they are doing caricature with the justice system, and they are even playing their part too in these issues, because you find out that in some cases that is not supposed to even make it to the court, these people will take it to the court, and at the end of the day they will win. Why won't another person, an illegal person, go and try that route, knowing that if he press some buttons, he might win it? So difficult situation. I wish them all well. So it is now normal in Nigeria that if you are a top political party, court cases, faction will be normal and the order of the day. We saw what, like I mentioned, ABGA, LP, APC, PDP, all of them having factional issues.
It's a big problem. It's a big problem. All right, we'll go on a quick break right now, and when we return, we'll take our last paper for today, and then we'll call it a day. Please stay tuned.
Hey there, are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Hello and welcome back from that short break. Still on the newspaper review here. I'm taking you now to the very last paper for the day, and we shall be looking at the Daily Times. Headlines in the Daily Times says aviation unions shut airports, cripple activities nationwide. Minister pleads for understanding. Aviation unions shut airports, cripple activities nationwide. Minister pleads for understanding. Okay. That's the boldest headline in the Daily Times. And on page 16 here we have NG Cares. Federal government releases 45.3 billion naira reimbursement to state Federal Capital Territory. NG Cares. Federal government releases 45.3 billion naira reimbursement to state Federal Capital Territory. That story is on page 16 of the Daily Times. On page 3 we have forgery of Supreme Court judgment. Forgery of Supreme Court judgment. Police withdraws amended charges against the APGA chieftains. Forgery of Supreme Court judgment. Police withdraws amended charges against APGA chieftains. That story is on page 3 of the Daily Times. And on page 13 we have Guinean citizenship. Guinean citizenship. Speak up now. POSN tells Tinubu Guinean citizenship. Speak up now. POSN tells Tinubu. That story is on page 13 of the Daily Times. This one here says a protest in Yola as PDP accuses Adamawa wreck of acting INEC chairman's script. I think already saw this before in the previous paper. And lastly here in Daily Times we have Buhari We have provided incoming government tools to guide Nigeria's energy future. Buhari, we have provided incoming government tools to guide Nigeria's energy future. The story is on page 3 of the Daily Times newspaper. All right, that's the much you can take in the Daily Times newspaper. Mr. Victor, yes, as usual, there are lots of interesting headlines for us to talk about, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on this particular headline that really catches my attention here on page 13, and it says, Guinean citizenship, speak up now. POSN tells Tinubu. What do you have to say concerning this? Because there have been rumors of Tinubu having dual citizenship, of course, in Guinea, and you know this, of course, is a crime given the fact that he's the president-elect, and then he said that he had no dual citizenship under oath, and this proves to be otherwise to what he said. So I don't know what you make of this particular headline. Is he saying the truth, or is it just another, should I say, propaganda made up to tarnish his image further?
For me, this is becoming too much for one man. Okay. It's unfortunate that a whole lot of controversies are coming out. Some might say it's the handiwork of mischief makers. Okay. But I think we should go beyond that, okay, and just look at the details, okay. I am not too quick in taking sides or analyzing stuff like this. Reason, I've seen situations whereby somebody is accused of something, and at the end of the day it becomes
was innocent.
Yes. But in this case, it should be looked in critically because it's a serious matter. The publication came from David Hundiyin. A Yoruba sweet boy, that's what they call him out there, and he's a journalist. Okay, so what happened on Sunday? He threw out that image, and the internet went agog. The frenzy was just too high. So what is the paper even saying? That the Tinubu campaign team and himself have been mute, have been quiet and silent about this matter, because beforehand, if you check the trajectory of things, you find out that when news like this or controversies like this come out,
they're usually so quick to come out to defend themselves.
Debunk such thing. But right now, even when Fashola was asked a question about this on national TV, you find out that he kind of does it and all that. Yeah. So Premium Times, no, not Premium Times, the Gazette, yes, the People's Gazette have written to FFK, Femi Kayode, and Keyamo, Alake. That's the media, let's say, publicists of the Tinubu campaign, and they've not responded with questions regarding this particular news. But if you also go back, you might see some elements of truth. It might not be truth, but elements of truth, because in 2015, the passport shows that it was obtained 2015. That's the Guinean passport was obtained 2015. One. Now, in that same 2015, it was highly noted that Tinubu's man, as in his right-hand ally and pally, was the president of Guinea as at that time, and Tinubu had made that utterance that he helped this man in. Yes.
Wow.
So, seeing that this whole thing also happened around that time, it could still be that it is possible. That is one side of it. The second part of this matter is that he got a diplomatic passport. Diplomatic passport.
The story is getting more interesting.
Yes. If true, let me put a disclaimer. If true, or caveat, if true, that means that, okay, look at what people are linking. They are linking it that, if you have a diplomatic passport, in many cases, in 95% cases, you will not be searched at the airport. Nobody will touch your bag. You'll move on. And we have had evidences or stories or articles or situations where politicians have used this diplomatic passport to commit crime. Crimes like drug peddling and pushing. I am not calling Tinubu a drug pusher. But people are linking it. Okay, he has been having... But mind you, by that time, he has already served as a Lagos State governor. Okay, before 2015, he has done his time. Okay, as a governor. Okay, but the other part of it, just quickly, the Nigerian Constitution clearly states that you cannot be a citizen of another country, okay, and become president. It's very clean.
So,
clean and clear. Okay. Then lastly,
what does this mean right now? What does this spell for Tinubu right now? Should it be proven true?
Yeah, that passport is real and authentic.
Yes.
Oh my God! But this guy is very wicked, though, because the passport, he has put it up there.
Mr. Victor said the guy is very wicked.
He's very wicked now. He has put it up there. So right now they will just be going gaga, because the number, if the passport number is there, all the other detail, everything is there looking at you.
So there's no way you can doctor anything now. There's no way to go and say, okay, let me maneuver anything.
It is a very critical moment right now, because you just be wondering, why is it that FFK that talks so fast have not debunked it to say, this is not.
It tells you that probably there's an iota of truth in this matter.
Remember when the case, Tinubu has gone through a lot too, especially from the youth. Remember when it was
it's because
the case
they don't want him.
Of University of Chicago. Remember that case?
Yes.
That he did not go to University of Chicago.
Yes.
There are no evidences. When he was filling his form, he did not put that school though.
Wow.
Now, when he was filling the form too, he did not put that he has a passport of another country, and it's clearly stated there. And do you know the bad part of this is he swore under oath. So
and
this is
crime.
perjury.
Yes,
it's a criminal offense.
So he might go to jail for this.
If it is true. So there are a whole lot of hogs, a whole lot of dark air covering him, because these cases are too much.
Well, Mr. Victor, do you see this finally being the last straw that might just break the camel's back?
These people are so tough. It might not break it though.
It might not break the camel's back. So you still see Tinubu being
that straw
sworn,
might just break as he's hitting the back of the camel.
So you still see Tinubu being sworn in on the 29th.
No, he'll be sworn in on May 29th. But mind you, the case extends. It can extend way further than May 29th.
But why go ahead to swear someone in who already has such a case?
And because of the court cannot stop him right now. The court cannot stop him right now because
why?
We need to wait for the Supreme Court. He's in the power of the Supreme Court, and the case might extend past May the 29th. But there is something.
So he's going to become president, and then the case is going on.
Yes. Are you shocked? It shocked you? Well, lastly, we should note that for our viewers out there, the tribunal case has started preliminary, and you were given 21 days to submit your case, and when you submit that case, you might not be able to edit it, okay, or bring in another evidence. But in this case, it might just be revisited. It might, but it's also in the power of the judge to say, okay, are you bringing this as one of the charges? In this case, it is a very serious case, okay? And if the evidence is really hard, they might allow this to be part of their arsenals. I mean, the Labour Party and the PDP, because this is about the Constitution. This is not a matter of electoral act, which is smaller. This is a constitutional issue that states that if you are a passport holder, a citizen of another country, you do not stand qualified to become the president of this country. So, wow. But look at lastly, please, our viewers, what they might just go and do if they have the power, and if it is true that he has another passport, they might just go out there in Guinea. Guinea is a normal country now. They might just go out there and tell them, oh yeah, policy is a game of interest. Sorry, I'm just playing out some predictions. I might be totally wrong. They might just go there, meet them, say, okay, this particular oil block or this interest will give it to you. Please go and backdate that I have denounced my citizenship with this country. I rest my case. Thank you.
Mr. Victor. Well, I don't want to begin to imagine that scenario playing out.
We are that more like fantasy, but let's just
I don't want to fantasize such fantasy again. It's too ugly because, sincerely speaking, there are lots of persons right now who are seriously, happy concerning this particular development because, come on, we know that a lot of persons are not rooting for Tinubu to be president of this country. We know that it's not a new thing anymore. But nevertheless, if Tinubu actually did win the elections fair and square, why not? He should be president. He should be president. But in the case where we have evidences that prove beyond all reasonable doubts that he is not fit to be president of this nation, then he shouldn't assume the office as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of this great nation. But nevertheless, we keep our fingers crossed and see what the future holds. This is the end of the newspaper review for today. Thanks for watching once again. Mr. Victor Sioku, thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you,
I really appreciate your time. My name is Cyril Aloysius, and please make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and turn on your notification bells so you could get notified when we drop new videos. You could check us out on different social media platforms, on Twitter and Facebook, Rethav TV, on Instagram, Rethav TV_NG, and on YouTube, Rethav TV. My name is Cyril Aloysius once again, and thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.